All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Monday, August 3rd, 2026 meeting of the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees. First order of business is to call roll. Susan Ainsley.
Present.
Carolyn Greenwald.
Here.
Pat Gillespie. Here. Kathleen Yen. Ronnie Harlow's here, so full quorum. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the public comment period. This is the time of our meeting when people who would like to speak about any topic that is not already on our agenda can speak. If you're online, just let us know if you'd like to speak.
Kevin Callington here for the planning board.
Okay, liaison tonight?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, I will move that we close our public comment period.
Second.
Susan Ainsley seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, good. Next order of business is to approve several sets of draft minutes from Jody. We cannot do them all at one time because for July 6th, Pat Gillespie was absent, so we will have to do it independently. So I will move the draft minutes of the July 6th, 2026 for approval.
Second.
Susan seconds. Any discussion about those minutes?
Just as corrected.
Yes, Jody sent us the corrected versions later or earlier this evening or late afternoon. Okay, no discussion. All those in favor of approving the July 6th, 2026 draft minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Yeah. Thank you. Now we can vote on both the July 16th and 20th, 2026 minutes. So I will move those draft minutes.
Second.
Susan seconds. Any discussion about either of those 2 minutes?
Just as corrected.
All right. All those in favor of approving July 16th and July 20th, 2026 draft minutes, please say aye. Aye. Good deal. Thank you, Jody. Thanks for catching up. Okay, the next topic on the agenda is to discuss the one vendor, one local vendor who sent us a quote for a demonstration for reimagining and redesigning our website. Flourish Design Studios, Jackie Cote. Is there any discussion about this? Do we want to have her come to us with a demonstration?
I think after we have the other two, we'll have a better idea of where everything falls.
I think I already have an idea of, I was very impressed with the MuniBit presentation and I'm completely converted. I know I thought that we needed to own the website to control it and also for the cost reasons. I was worried about the cost of having an outsourced product, and I am willing to admit that my assumptions were incorrect, and I thought the presentation was fabulous. And we're talking about $2,000 versus $20,000. Before we recoup up to $20,000, the technology will be different.
Right.
So
Technology will be different in a year.
exactly. And MuniBit's technology will progress with the availabilities and then establish. So I thought the presentation was so useful, and I appreciate you putting that together, Ronnie. You were spot on about that.
No, that's fine.
So
I think
for short, I think the Flourish Designs is not the way to go, and I think we could just tell her that.
We don't need it.
I don't want her to spend her time and
Exactly.
resources preparing for a demonstration that would probably reject anyway.
Did she give up a space?
Yes. And almost halfway through her letter, it's roughly $14,000 to $22,000. Even at the low end, that's significantly above what our budget is this year. So, yeah, it was the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph into her email. So we can still treat that as a quote.
So we'll have 3 quotes for procurement policy. And that's what I was referring to when I said 3, if we needed it. But we don't need to have the demo as long as we have the quotes.
Exactly right.
And we're still going ahead with the second demo.
Yeah, second demo is a week from tomorrow.
It's the 10th, I believe.
Maybe today, yeah, maybe next Monday.
I think it's the 10th.
Yeah, they're scheduled. And a reminder, Jody, don't forget to
Yeah, to-
create a Zoom meeting and send out a public notice since we have to have it as a public meeting.
Okay.
It was,
And
you know,
who's doing it? Know that I got information on this.
it was Civic Plus, CIVIC, capital PLUS, no space.
Oh,
And
no place in the space in between Civic and Plus.
yeah, it's just Civic Plus. And I think you'll find them very similar to MuniBit, but we'll see. We'll see how they compare. Okay, well, then I will communicate that to Jackie, and I don't think that she will be surprised at all. So thank you all. All right, and moving on, our next topic is to discuss proposed fund balance policy. And I sent out the second draft. This is the draft that this is the information that Jody had provided to us, and I just inserted it into the format of the original fund balance policy. There are some questions in here and notes. The questions were just, there were certain things that we don't use. Do we want to remove those or leave them in and just say that the village does not use them?
So I have a couple of corrections, like on at line 24, reasonable has to be capitalized, and then general fund will hedge against instead of to hedge against.
Reasonable amounts?
Yeah.
So that's a defined term.
So reasonable amounts.
See how they're varying, that should be reasonable levels of unexpected. It just wasn't capitalized. It was just a smaller line 24.
Oh, I see. I was looking at the wrong one. There. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I did not.
And then
catch
to
it.
make it sound right, will hedge, not to hedge. And then my suggestions on all the removals that we had questions about, I think we should have them just they're there. If in case the future we do have them, it will already be there, you won't have to rewrite policy.
Not a problem.
And then, I thought, we can always put not currently used by the village of Lansing, 127.
Apparently,
Not currently used,
Oh, I see.
parentheses.
Understood.
Currently, yeah.
not currently used by the
Yeah.
village of Lansing.
Yep.
And
And then on line 35, just take out the remove, right?
oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That doesn't surprise me. I was, once I put those in as I was going through, but then I thought about it this afternoon. I said, we probably should just leave them in there to show that we do know about it. We
Right,
may not use them.
right,
Okay,
right,
so I'll take out all the removes. That's fine.
okay.
Good.
And then, so I did a chart up for everyone, gives you the last 5 years of what our unassigned fund balance was. And if you would stick with that 25 to 50% that is in the policy,
Right.
the only year that didn't, was a little low, was the 24, 25.
Mhm.
But like you can see at the bottom in blue, I have the range from 25 to 50%. And then so you compare it against the red line above.
Yes,
Thank you for creating this because this was very, very helpful.
very nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and if we do go below, then we did what we were supposed to do, and we move it back up into range,
Mhm.
and so,
And that's what the policy says too. So
okay,
I think it's good the way it is now.
okay. The other thing I was going to say is that the two notes that are highlighted in color and in italics, we could just put a note phrase in front of that, just as a suggestion on how to proceed. These are the ones that you gave for clarification for us, and just put.
Yeah, and I think you want this to be a document so that the next person coming in can pick up and know why we're doing it.
Yeah,
So I think having those little notes helps rather than writing a whole different policy on.
It is kind of funny because you don't normally say the old way was this.
Yeah.
But because people are so familiar with the old way in this case, especially with accounting, if you didn't know there was a new way, you would be confused.
it may be the only way. Okay, and there's another not used by Village of Lansing on page 4, line
Yep.
19. I'll put not currently used, just like the
Yep.
previous
Yep.
one. Okay. Was everyone comfortable with approving this amendment with these small changes?
Yes.
Okay.
Page 3, line 9, also be not currently.
Page 3, line 9.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you. I didn't catch that. Okay. I will search the document in case we've happened to miss another also. And just to make it consistent. So I will remove draft 2. Okay, would someone like to move?
Wait, I just want to confirm, so I'm looking at a lot of other fund balance policies and the number, the range is a bit smaller than ours, but you're saying the 25 to 50 was recommended by whom?
NICOM conference.
They did recommend that range? Because I see a lot of ranges a lot smaller, but I'm happier with as long as it's recommended, I'm happier with the range that fits in accordance with how we've been acting.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, you might be able to make it 40. I'd have to crunch numbers and see for sure if you wanted to, but
If this is recommended, then
that is,
it's
up
it's
to range,
something.
5%.
Yeah, and they always say 3 to 6 months unassigned balance, which
Right.
is 25 and 50% of your budget usually. So, but they do repeat the numbers in the courses too. So, yeah, that's what they recommend.
Because I haven't seen any as high as 50 in any of the graphs that I had, but if that's the recommended number, I'm definitely happy with that.
It's nice if you can get it, and Village has been healthy enough budget wise.
We've never got there.
Well,
I mean, we're close
we can
this
get
time.
close.
But
But if we're within the 25 to 50,
Mhm.
we're in pretty good shape. There's some that it's hard to get 15. So anyway, would someone like to move this draft?
I so move.
Carolyn beat you. Would you mind being a second?
I wouldn't mind being second.
Carolyn moves. Susan seconds. And is there any more discussion about this?
No, thank you, Jody.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, all those in favor of approving the fund balance policy, say aye. And yeah, definitely, thank you, Jimmy, for all the comments. So the next topic of discussion is the emergency preparedness plan. And in tandem, basically, also the municipal emergency plan for the county CDMP. I sent you all the latest version. And along with the sheet of recommended changes from Kathleen and the status of those changes. Is there any discussion about this?
So one thing on page 4,
Page.
page 4, line 22. The village clerk shall will. I can need one or the other.
Oh, shall will. Okay. Thanks, Pat. Any other discussion? I did make a change that I didn't really point out to you as I was working on this document. On page 5, within the chain of command flow chart, under the incident commander, which is signed by the Department of Emergency Response, they actually also coordinate with the joining municipalities when there is an emergency. So they make sure that we're not all inventing the same wheel and we're all contributing different pieces to get the solution. Particular to the municipality, but also as a concerted effort at the higher level. So I did add that one. Okay, and the one thing I could not put in the contact and communications information is the incident commander's name, because that's assigned on a case-by-case basis, I believe, from what I understand.
Want to put that in there? The end on a case by case basis.
Well, it's not fixed as a person, or there's not one incident commander within the doer. As far as I know, it's like when the emergency comes up, it may be that a person has the skill set and the experience to deal with one type of emergency, but someone else might have a different skill set. So I believe that they assign it, from what I can understand, in their emergency management plan is that person is assigned. It's not a single person. It could,
That's it though, to line 15, just putting the line on a case by case basis. And
oh,
And there's usually a written succession plan, so you know who's the first. If that person is not available, the second, the third. So there is usually a written succession plan that can be changed. So at the village level, it could be changed by the mayor.
yes, yes. And sometimes somebody can start in that position, but they get, because of the emergency, they may get called out. So someone else would have to step and fill it or take on two roles or something. So we just don't know.
And the only other thing I'd say, the Tompkins County, you've got state and federal agencies, but it's also Tompkins County departments and agencies.
Aligning,
That would be like DSS, Department of Health.
Say that again. Which line?
You've got state, federal agencies, but there's also Tompkins County departments and agencies that can be called in for various
Where it's
purposes.
looking.
I'm just adding
Oh,
the
in the
chart.
chart.
I'm sorry, this is page 2.
So there would be an additional box
Yeah,
for county departments.
right. County departments and agencies, depending on the need and the services that are required.
Okay, I can,
So right under Tompkins County Department of Emergency Response is what you're saying?
You could put county, state and federal
Right above it?
departments, agencies. You could just add it to the.
In a little box.
say county, state, and federal
Yeah.
agencies.
So just add county to where the state.
State and federal agencies. Okay, yeah, I can do that. It's not this.
Then I don't know if you want to just add the date either to your header or your footer, just so it's clear if it gets updated. And then the only other thing
That's
is,
just on the front page, policy revised, it'll have the date and resolution number on the very first page.
right. I just thought the header or footer makes it clear. So it's always, you always have the date.
That's why we, on all of our policies, we have this.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah,
We have it on the front.
Yeah, but what Kathleen is mentioning is, say you've got this document out and the page falls on the floor and someone picks it up and they don't know, they know it's from the village, but they're not sure which version. So if it's on, the date is on the page by page, it ties that document to the version that's been approved. I've done that before with other documents. We can do that. I could just put it on the other side of the page numbers.
that'd be helpful because this document is going to be updated every year because
Right.
it said the last line is we're going to update it in May every year.
Or we could just put the year, because it's probably a year document.
Are we adding this to the organizational meeting?
It's a good idea.
Yes, it is requested, yes. It's the last, the review cycle says at the village's annual organization.
So, so for it to be referred to in the addendum of the comprehensive emergency management plan, it could be approved prior to the organizational meeting.
So it's hard when trying to remember when things should be approved. That's why we put everything that gets approved during
Right.
the organizational meeting. So it happens once a year and you go right to the
Right.
organizational.
I'm
meeting.
just saying the initial update, since this is an annual review. This initial update
Yeah, you have
can
to
be
fit and then you'll
this
say it'll be
can be
done.
this board year, and then subsequently
In
it
the
will
would
be-
always be.
Yes,
May.
yeah, yeah.
first time it's
Yeah.
usually offside.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the only other thing you might want to consider is putting in the contact number in the boxes on the flow chart on page 5.
The contact number.
Mhm.
For
each?
That's.
No, just for the major ones. So the village number, the mayor, the incident commander, basically number, and the doer number.
The incident commander number could change
Yeah.
depending on who it's, we could put a contact number under yours and under the state of the
Right.
mayor or designate. But yeah, the other boxes that would be hard to maintain.
No, I'm just suggesting the key, the incident commander for the 2 boxes.
The incident commander changes from
It's
situation.
It's the department number.
Give me an example,
Our office number would be the
but don't we
mayor.
have that?
You do have it back here, yeah.
It's just not in the chart. Should the chart be looked at separately from the document? My problem with that is that if they might think that they're calling the incident commander, but they're not, they would be getting the general department and having to ask for the incident commander. I would think if it's a general number for the Department of Emergency Response, that's where the number should be under there. And if they have to contact somebody,
Right.
they would contact Doer and say, can you connect me with the incident commander for this?
Correct.
case?" So phone number, right? For the village. I guess we could do, just to make it symmetrical, we could do the same thing. It would be the general phone number and they would ask to be connected with the mayor or the designate. In reading this, did anyone see any problems with the procedure or the response or the processes and sequence of action as far as what we should do? First time, I mean, obviously, as we go through a year and review it again next year, we might come up with changes, but for this pass, if we had an emergency tomorrow morning, do you think that we could deal with an emergency with this document
I think so.
for ourselves? Okay,
You always have to go through it.
yeah, yes.
And then
Yeah.
our procedures.
Yes, and as Kathleen's mentioned, maybe at some point we should have a desk emergency or just kind of see what we would and go through it and look for.
Go on.
I have many emergencies all the time with regard to water breaks. We had one on, what was it? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we've had several this summer. Yeah, that's true. But we can do that.
And I think this is, when you look at the 3 levels, level 1, 2, 3, the most of it'll be 911, but as we've seen in the state of Washington and elsewhere, what becomes a monitor can quickly escalate. So
Yes, yeah.
just going through and having that, it's a cycle basically of think of it as 4 phases that never end. You're always updating from preparing to the actual response to recovering and then mitigating. How can we do this better next time?
Right. Use makes perfect. Okay. So I don't want to pass this plan right now. I do want to have it available to use in an emergency. What I want to do now is to take this plan and move it, migrate it into the county's, our addendum our municipal emergency plan addendum for the county. They give municipalities permission that if you've already got a plan, you can move it into that addendum. So what I will do is I will take this plan, I will start dropping it into the template that they've provided, which might raise an issue with something that we say we're going to do, that they say there's another step that we need to put inside. At that point, when I do that, I will come back and add something to this plan. So I want to kind of say, this is good enough right now, but after it goes through the exercise of being dropped into the addendum, there might be additional information or some information change. And at that point, this would be solid for us. And then we can address the addendum. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
So there's Appendix A, and that's where you take all of your village, your incorporated plans, policies, and procedures. And you say, okay, everything that's in here comes from these policies, like part of it in the part one is from the comprehensive plan. And then there's the emergency preparedness plan, resolution 5650. Then there's the hazard mitigation plan that you could use. So there's an addendum to the addendum.
An appendix to the addendum.
Correct. It's called Appendix A. It's the incorporated plans, policies, and procedures. And so this actually could fit right in there.
In there, yes. But the information from this also will be used to populate the portion before the appendix, rather than default to what they're asking for, because they ask for a plethora of information that goes way beyond scope and skills of our tiny village. So I want to scope that to what the village can do. It's not a county response that will be using that addendum. It will be the village of Lansing that will be using that. So that's what I will be doing. So it will be duplicative in other words, the information will be transferred, not in bulk, except in the Appendix A. We can allude to it, or if they want a copy, we can attach it. But the paragraphs that we have will be used to complete the beginning portion of that municipal emergency plan in lieu of the wording that they have provided at the county level. So that's why I'm saying is that while I'm going through this and replacing their wording, I might see a sentence that says, oh, we didn't think about this. I'll put that in our plan, and then I will make them the same. So my goal is to reduce a 44-page document to something a little more manageable. Something this size would be perfect, but I won't be able to do that because of all of their formatting. There's also the record of promulgation. Who do we give a copy of this to? From the village's standpoint, I think the only agency that we would need to work with is Doer, because our process is we handle things inside our village with 911 calls, fire, ambulance, et cetera, police. But beyond that, if it's going to potentially endanger lives within the village, not just at the incident of the emergency, but something that can spread. At that point, Doer is called and Doer takes over. So I think the only agency we would be promulgating to would be Doer. Now, there may be a reason that we have to promulgate it to the state, which wouldn't surprise me, but I just don't know that yet. I'm looking to simplify our addendum for the county plan, which is required. They are requiring, and I think that probably the state is requiring it of them. So we will reduce the not scope, but the complexity of the addendum to something that's very similar to our plan. So, and according to them, we have the ability to do that. We do not have to follow their wording. We can use our own. So I will start on that next day or so, and I'll go through it as quick as I can. So you may get status updates down the road as we get farther along.
I think a record of distribution is really important, provided to, and the manner of distribution. And I think that should be with any plan. And
That's one thing I wanted to ask John and, or I guess I can start the discussion here. When we've had emergencies and we've had to, our village staff or board members have had to contact the fire department, do they require a memorandum of understanding? Or do we just call them as part of the 911 call system?
I think he's just talking about page 6, just making sure that, just suggesting that you include this in your, when you take our
Right,
plan. and
but we
coordinate with theirs.
won't do, we don't.
We're basically
we don't
just
need
have
to
department
provide,
heads.
we don't need to provide copies of this to the police department. The police department is not going to keep a copy of every municipality's.
Agreed.
So we
No.
will have
Just the ones that we need to do.
the ones that we
I
need
think
to
he's
do.
just suggesting adding this topic, I think.
I had already populated the template. And it's basically your village board of trustees, your clerk, your superintendent of public works, basically your essential personnel. And who would be on, because much of this would be if it's a level 3 catastrophic.
You populated it, why don't you just share that with Ronnie, so that he doesn't have to redo it?
Slated it.
Yeah, you had said to keep it offline. So I did do a draft.
Okay, then send me that copy and I will work from that and you will have part of it already completed for you.
Right. And then this was one of the charts that was in there, and this was distributed, I think, at the trustee meeting, everybody got a copy of this plus the template. And the template was just a blank one, so you would know what the actual template looked like for municipalities versus the county. And what kind of questions they were asking, so the gray area to fill in. And they have this type of table. So you look at it at a glance and you go, oh, this is what the mayor is responsible for. Oh, this is what the trustees may or may not be responsible for. Oh, this is what the clerk is. And that was part of my, I didn't know what you meant by keep it offline. So that's why you got a paper copy.
Right. Those descriptions would come from our document here.
Right.
We just
And
built
there
that
were
in.
a couple that were in here.
Yeah.
So if something like this works or not.
Send everything you've done to Ronnie and whatever he was already thinking of putting in,
Okay.
put in, and if
Yeah.
he thinks it's
Fit in.
unnecessary,
Yeah.
then maybe he'll suggest that.
Right. Yeah, just send that to me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if the table works, I'll consider maybe using that instead of our paragraph that I use our paragraph format. If it makes clearer sense and it's easier to find.
You know, paragraph is fine. It's just sometimes it's easier to just look at a table if you're in a hurry.
Okay, I will take a look at it. And if it works better, then like I say, that's one of the things. So if I find something that works differently or better for us, I'll put it in our plan and go that way. Okay, all right.
And then are there any meetings that you're aware of with the fire department, Brad George, the fire chief in Lansing or anything? Okay, to reach out. And something to consider before there's an emergency, any agreements or memorandums of understanding that are for emergencies only
I'm not aware of
that
it.
could be authorized and in advance so that you're not scrambling during an emergency.
If we haven't done it in the past, I don't know if we need to break something to fix it.
Do you have anything with, say, Bolton Point and
Not as far as I know.
other emergencies or anything? Okay.
I'm not sure. I will check with Bolton Point to see if they're setting up memorandums of understanding with other municipalities for
Right.
your emergency management
Right,
plans.
with the town or the surrounding municipalities, just to have some sorts of.
I think that could be very hypothetical and very broad and very potentially not useful, given if it's a very specific emergency situation. The number of MOUs could be countless at that, if you just start hypothesizing as to who we may need them with.
That's.
Just ask Bolton Point.
Yeah, yeah.
I've probably been asked this question before.
I can do that, but Natalie expressed my concern that if every municipality has to keep a memorandum of understanding up to date for every municipality that's around it, that's a lot of paperwork. We don't have a county side staff to take care of that. We have Jody.
And we deal with emergencies just fine around here.
However, Jody could take care of that.
So,
You're our communicators
but
and record.
I will check with Bolton Point. It goes in line with some other questions that I have been asking them, so I will check with that. And in going through their document, the county's template, the one you populated, I might say, now this is something I didn't think about. Maybe this is someone else we should communicate with. But I don't want to overburden our great small staff and board of trustees, quite frankly, with
No,
a
it's-
lot of paperwork. Just don't want to do that.
No, I'm throwing it out as a question. Are there agreements or mutual aid agreements or memorandums that you would advise be
We just help each
incorporated?
other, municipality wise.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have anything in writing, we just.
Yeah, I have never heard of any. I haven't heard of any from other municipalities either.
Can
Yeah.
you think of an instance where that would be important to have?
Yeah,
And that would be,
if it was something catastrophic and you're basically on your own and
but we,
say housing with DSS or usually it will be incident specific, but sometimes having agreements for distribution of basic needs.
and that falls under,
The county.
Yeah.
I think your question is, were there any? The answer is no, there aren't any. The county might have some that cover us, but that's not part of our addendum.
Yeah, I don't know that it's beneficial. I mean, you don't have time in an emergency to go through and say, do we have the right memorandum of understanding with the other municipality? And if we don't, what do we do now?
too bad,
I
so
think we
sad.
basically
They're on their own.
deal with the emergency. And if it turns out that a memorandum of understanding would have clarified something, I could see that happening, but not to just generate paperwork that's potentially going to solve an incident when you don't know what the incident is. And you don't know what the impact of the incident is going to be. If it spreads to another municipality, that's the moment that Dewar gets involved. And they have all of the contacts. They have all of the information for every municipality. That's why I put them in that's why I added that adjoining municipalities to that chart, because that's their responsibility to make sure that and coordinate help among and for all of municipalities. So at this point, I think it's beneficial for us to rely on that. And if it fails, then look for a solution, but not make a solution and hope it solves something that we can't identify.
Well,
Just
sounds
throwing
like
it
you're
out
ready
there.
to move forward and you've got enough.
Okay. All right, so next topic of discussion is to continue our discussion on post-retirement health insurance. Thank you, Natalie, for your words, and the documents that you submitted, that would help us clarify. So we're definitely looking at possibility of raising the cap for our retirees. I know that Carol in the last meeting had mentioned going up to about $3,600, which is within the range that my research fit into, that it looked like a good general number to go up to within the state of New York. Does that sound appropriate to everyone, or do we want to go higher? You want to go?
So you guys had also had a question about what was it compared to back in 2010?
Carol.
Carol had asked. And so at that time, we didn't have any people single on the thing, but I just looked at the family numbers. And so back then, it was like $1,200. Now it's $2,900. And then the way that they figured it, how they came up with, they used to figure it the same way as they figured all employees. But if you take, for instance, if you were just stuck with like the 60% of a single person, it would be $8,120.28 now, if you're sticking with the 60%.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the Randy Smith document? So Randy Smith document, actually, can you make copies of this? It's written really small though. Can you make copies of this? Apologize, I wanted it on one page, so the font is, it's like 6 point, I'm not kidding. So Randy Smith was a trustee prior to some of you, and he looked into what the neighboring municipalities were doing. And it is very different for everybody, but it's super helpful to like think about all the different ways that we can do this and what all the other people were doing when Randy did this, which is now possibly outdated. Some people do nothing. At least 3 municipalities do nothing. A lot of them do something tied to the consortium, and I don't quite understand that. I wanted to ask the consortium people a little bit to explain that a little bit. And then some other municipalities let people accrue unused sick leave and use that. So there's like all different, it's across the board, like there's very different
Right.
approaches. Did you make it slightly larger for everyone?
I can't
No, I thought you did.
make it, no,
Oh, no, that's okay. Okay. So there's like a lot of nothings. There's a accrued sick leave. And there's the one that I don't understand that I wanted to ask some of the people. It just is the plan through the health consortium, and I don't know what that means. I was wondering if the health consortium.
Retiree pay PPO plan, they don't have a PPO plan anymore.
Oh, so that's outdated.
Outdated. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't know what that was. That's not why, but
It ended a couple of years ago.
that's not an option.
No, it's not, no longer an option. Yeah.
So Caroline doesn't really offer anything. We don't know what Danby offers. Dryden is, you can use your acquired sick time, otherwise nothing.
really quite well, might be okay in the future. Because you have people, you've waited so long that now people could have been accruing time. And now don't have that option. That was one of John's complaints.
Village of Dryden, you're only recovered, once you're 65, you're no longer covered, which is similar to ours inside when Medicaid kicks in. There's a difference of structure. we could ask the village of Dryden and the city of Ithaca, because they no longer, you have that, they both had the same thing, which was through the consortium, which you're saying is no longer an option.
Right.
So I wonder what they substituted in.
I haven't heard specific discussions.
And Trumansburg also does nothing. So at least 3, maybe 4, maybe more do nothing. Need to look at what Natalie said.
Recirculating the, 3 potential options for remedying the, what's his name?
Oh, the Curtis stuff.
The Ben
Oh, yeah,
Curtis,
that's separate.
Yeah. And
I'm
just
very
the
happy
village
we're not-
can change its
Yes.
policies to.
And that's written in
remove-
the policy.
Right.
It's written right in the
It's written in
policy and it's in New York State law.
Right.
It's-
Yep, that's
very
written
clear.
right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there were some things that you did, like you crossed out lines of things that looked like you wanted to take
Yeah.
out, but they were in there specifically for a reason, which I can explain to you.
Okay.
Be fine.
Just to clarify, like calculation, it was to change how the calculations were done.
So, the part is currently indicates the village would never pay more for the spousal option than the cost of providing the benefit directly. So basically, how it all came about when Ben Curtis went on his wife's policy. Because, and Mike Scott is also on his wife's policy, it is cheaper for the village to do the same formula and pay what's left. And then that way, the other employer, the spouse's employer, is paying for family insurance. So that's why it's important to leave that comment in there, because you're not gonna want to say, oh, well, my husband has insurance, but it's way more expensive than what you have here. So you don't want that to happen. You only want to go out and let them do that if it's because you're trying to save the village money.
So obviously, if we eventually decide to raise the cap, we would change the amounts here also. Because the $2,400 is that current cap.
Yeah, if you're saying 60% of a single coverage, that's over 8,000 now.
That's the total amount.
60% of what an individual policy is $8,000.
At,
So then.
after age 65.
Mhm. The other thing is too, I don't know, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
running around. I talked to Kylie Rodriguez at the
Yes,
county.
yeah.
She is an expert in Medicare also,
Mhm.
and that if we wanted to also offer a Medicare plan, so there was, but to me, I thought Medicare plan was more expensive than what we have here. So I know Carolyn had said we had I think you were the one that said that we have the most expensive plan for insurance, the platinum plan. It is not. I have a breakdown of what every municipality pays. In the consortium, it's right online, we can get the information.
I thought
It's like-
platinum was the most
I
expensive.
don't think.
So it's like Village Cuba Heights' insurance is over 1,700 a month, so we're 1,100 a month. Approximately, Village Cuba Heights 17, Town of Lansing's 15, Town of Ithaca is 16, in round numbers.
Did you show the
15.
metal plan also?
Yep, so I just printed this right offline, so here's us,
Right.
and then here are all the different amounts that other municipalities are paying. So they're paying a lot more than we are. But we went with our plan because that was exactly what we had through Blue Cross and Blue Shield before we joined the consortium.
Okay.
So we didn't go up or down, it was the exact same. The only thing that was different was that on our Blue Cross Blue Shield, we used to be able to have just you and your spouse. And they don't have that option through the consortium, they only have single or family, no two. So.
And this shows that there still are some PPO plans. I wonder if they were just grandfathered in. because they had specifically said in meetings that they were no longer offering PPOs.
Can we double check that?
Well, I just printed offline. So I was talking, and I can forward Kylie's email that she sent me, and she sent me the link for that.
Carolyn, you probably would be interested in that too.
Yeah. But, and Kylie said if we're getting to the point where we may have people on Medicare and there's a different Medicare plan, and she would be willing to come talk to us about that.
Okay.
Also. So, yeah. And like I said, anybody who's from the consortium, well, people coming up. So.
Interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, like it's time for Medicare, so you're gonna have to help me. You people, anybody that's already on it, give me your advice.
It's complicated.
Yeah, advice today may not be
More
complicated tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
You just have to trust whatever decision you make at
Mhm.
when you have to make it by some
Yeah,
date.
well, my mom found out the hard way that hers didn't cover out of state, and which she got sick here in New York.
Oh, gosh.
She couldn't get anything done until she went home. Look at all kinds of details.
Well, I mean, you have to look at it holistically. I mean, each individual. And if you can find somebody that you trust
Mhm.
or learn not to trust, just to protect. Until you get old enough, and then.
How is platinum not the best plan? What's better than platinum?
How much more expensive they are.
That doesn't mean they're not the best plan. Those are like,
We went with platinum because it was the exact same Blue Cross Blue Shield plan that we were on at the time we joined the consortium. We didn't have a PPO, or we didn't have any of those other plans. We had platinum, so we just went straight across and it was cheaper.
is PPO just for retirees?
It doesn't say.
I'm curious. I just don't have all the information.
That's just the different plans that they have. I'll send you the link. I can send you one. That Kylie sent me.
Yeah, it's confusing because everything that I remember them saying the last couple of years,
We're doing away with PPO.
that the PPOs were no longer available. But it's possible that people had them. They can't stop them. But they will not allow any new PPOs. But it was confusing. I thought.
Yeah,
there was
I don't,
no
and I don't
PPOs.
see it.
Yeah,
Maybe they got rid of the retiree PPO plans?
no, they didn't, normally, they don't normally.
Those are not retiree plans.
Just the
Those
city
are
of Ithaca.
insurance plans.
Except for the city of Ithaca, it says retirees.
They also have a Medicare plan.
But this says retiree PPO plan on Randy's document. So those are, we want to find out
Yeah.
for sure if those are canceled or not.
So I guess that it would be good to have Kylie
Mhm.
come and talk
Yeah.
to us and explain to us what's available for our retirees.
Yes, let's do that. Otherwise, we're just talking to.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I'm more confused than when I sat down. I'm sorry.
Well, by looking at what she was showing me, it is more expensive than our platinum plan to get a retiree Medicare plan. I sent, at the end of the day, I sent her a message back and said, why would I want to switch if my insurance is cheaper? I didn't know if they made you go to Medicare plan once you retire, or once you're that
Once you're
age.
65,
Once you're old.
I think it might be. Our employee handbook says that you have to go to Medicare,
You do.
So-
You have to do A and B.
but you don't
you-
have to do a D,
Mm.
which is the supplemental. So,
Yeah, but she has a whole lot of experience in
Yeah,
that,
so
because she
that
did
you'd
that
be a good
even
resource.
before she came to the county, so she has a lot of experience, so yes, she would be the one to talk to about
Okay.
that.
do you think that our noon meeting might be a good time to talk about that? Because then we would have the staff in here too.
Sure.
Because staff should be here.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want me to see if we can get her this August, or do you want September?
Well, whatever is convenient for her. If she can't do it in August, ask if she could do it in September.
Because on the other side of it, and in terms of being competitive with future employees, I worked for the benefits in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't get paid much. However, the benefits were important.
That was when I started.
Thank
I
you,
think they
Jim.
usually refer to the current benefits because this is not even a promise for future benefits, so. if Somebody were to sign on for the retirement benefits, I think that would be ill-advised.
So wouldn't
Yeah.
it be though, if we increase now our benefits, it wouldn't retro back to Ben. He retired under that plan. Wouldn't he stick with that plan?
Question.
We could decide that. Do we want it to? I don't think there's anything that prevents us from extending it back to me if you so choose. Correct?
Correct.
Because that's basically what that one paragraph, we could always go up or we could always go down. That would be a discussion that we would need to have. Do we want to go back? And it's only one employee, so it's
Mhm.
not a tremendous big deal, but it would be a discussion.
I would say it is probably representing the interest of the villagers. There's not really a rationale. That would be, seems like a gift.
To go back,
Mhm.
yes, that's probably true. Okay, so let's move on to Natalie's recommendations for the health benefits related to
Options.
the two options. The option two, option one, we would have to not strike through the text within the paragraphs that Natalie had added. Within the text. Or we would need to go to the option two.
Natalie, can you just briefly explain the two options and why we pick one
There
or
were
the other?
three.
There's actually a third, but
There's three.
there's not a physical copy of the third option.
So in the email, the first, well, Jody said we shouldn't do away with the reference to the spouse's plan, so that would kind of omit option one.
Oh, okay.
Option two is how the Curtises had requested the calculation be made last time they came to us. So if you wanted to honor their calculation, that would just be reflective of what the Curtises did. And then back when this was all happening, I spoke to someone referred to me by NICOM, Tom Agostini, and he said, why not you just make a standard reimbursement of a dollar amount a year and get away with, trying to calculate based on anyone's plan? Why are you making it harder for yourself? True. Just give them the 24. Are they ever going to not get 24?
When I worked at TC3, I opted out of the health insurance because I was under my wife's plan. We just got a flat fee.
Yeah. And then you're just
There was
making it harder.
no discussion. It didn't cover much, but
Yeah.
like $400 a year.
Yeah. And I think that is typical of most employees. It's just a dollar amount, so they don't have to go through this with every individual employee.
Or it'd be all employees then at that point.
So then they don't have to submit any kind of.
No, they
Right.
just get it. It's
Well-
covered by their spouse.
Same day every year.
Like, for me to reimburse them now, I need proof that they actually paid that.
Yes, you
So you do still need them to submit paperwork of how much they paid.
Well, not under just the cap. They just get a cap if they're covered by their spouse is option 3.
Yeah, but they could say it's 24 when they're not covered anymore.
Well, then
And
you
they
want
pay
it, if you don't
$100
do that, then
or-
you need to do a calculation
Yeah.
to reconcile.
You don't need a calculation, you just need, so for instance, right now, I get a paper from the spouse's insurance that says they paid this amount for the year 25, 26.
Okay.
Dollar amount.
Yeah.
I need that. I would
But
assume.
if it was under 2,400, would you then not?
I don't get,
reimbursed.
yes, you would only do up to whatever they have paid.
Okay, so that's different than option 3 then.
That sounds like option two.
How the
We
Curtises
would.
wanted to do it?
Well, we already found in their, we already
Those times, yeah.
determined in their favor that that was a fair reading that we were sympathetic towards, and we just wanted to reconcile the document towards how we did ultimately decide it. So we kind of already decided that option two was acceptable to the village.
The only thing we would need to potentially change would be the $2,400.
Yeah.
Whatever the amount is that we decide based on the overall discussion.
And I believe hearkening back to their calculation, that too is a recitation of that. I think you and I looked on that back in 2020.
So are we comfortable then with the wording for option two from Natalie? with the proviso that if we do raise the cap, obviously we would raise it through all of the employees, retirees, and retirees on spouse plans too. Which that may change if, once we get information from Kylie, obviously, on how we calculate. But at the moment, does the wording look okay?
You're the ones that do the calculations.
I mean, if you're saying we'll give 60%, well, then you should be able to have that dollar amount be at least what 60% would be, right? Which is $8,000,
Maybe.
over $8,000, if that's what if you're sticking with that. Or you just, because that's what it'd be if you had the 60% and no top dollar amount.
Well, it is a not to exceed $2,400 annually.
Yeah, well, that's, and then why do you have that 60% in there misleading them, telling them you're gonna pay 60% when you're really not going to? It's more like 10%.
Well, that goes back to Natalie's original point, an amount not to exceed 2,400. Let's just call it 2,400 for the purposes of the purchase.
Yes.
Based on subject to reimbursement slips. So it's kind of a combination. But for the Curtises, it was a matter of spousal coverage.
Spouse minus individual. If she didn't have to cover Ben, how much she would be paying, and that's why they wanted the differential.
I'm surprised that it increased to $1,800. 60.
Well, if you take, it's 60% of what a single coverage is, it's $676.69 a month, which equals $8,120.28.
But that's not.
That's 60%.
Is that?
Of a single coverage.
Yeah, of single. But 60% was 100% of Medicare upon retirement. And at 65 plus, it's 60% of their Part D plan, the Medigap plan. It's not the single coverage, it's Medigap plan, which is substantial. It's not.
Well, because I looked at the Medicare plan that is your consortium, it's more than our platinum plan. That's why I sent our message, I was confused. How can it be more? You know?
Did Ben make a request for reimbursement this year
That was this year, interesting. Meg?
of 2026?
Oh, yes, he did do one this year.
And
Yeah.
did we just follow the
Yeah,
calculation
the
from
one
last
from
year?
last year, yeah. Yep.
So we are like basically implementing option 2. Did he calculate it the same way?
Yep.
So I guess it would be beneficial to have Kylie come in and ask her about the Medicare Part D that they offer and why is it so expensive. So we would probably want the employees to shop for a better deal. If they're charging that much, what of our, at least it's currently 2 employees who are up for retirement soon, could afford that.
Right.
You know, so we would have to find a way of, we need to find out why their Medigap plans are so expensive. Yeah, what are the benefits and.
And I'm happy to forward the email that I just had with her
Yeah,
today,
yeah, do that
asking the questions, and she has some links and stuff in there.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah.
So, obviously, we could, do we want to make this change to retirement health benefits, the option 2 that Natalie offered us tonight? Or do we want to wait until the end of our process and talking about this?
Not really any different than what we have now, right? Option 2?
Option 2, the wording is slightly different to reflect how the Curtises were calculating the change. But if they have already been, I mean, there's no need if they already had the reimbursement for this year, we can wait and do it holistically. to make sure we capture everything.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, agenda topic, except for general discussion, we'll go around the table. Kathleen?
No, just, you all got NICOM's 2026 water webinar series that starts on, August 6th. It's a series. And
We should
everybody,
talk about who's going to NICOM, because I already registered. It's already out.
Now we've got to fill people into the spots,
Who
right?
else? Well, no, I just did myself.
Oh,
'Cause I knew I was going, so. I got a hotel with 2 beds just in case, because the host hotel is already sold out.
I have the host hotel and waiting for you to register me.
Oh, you did get into the host hotel? You
Well,
registered already?
mhm.
Oh,
Oh, well, there you go.
okay.
Susan's going.
Okay. How did you register?
I just called
You
up.
paid Nikon?
No,
Oh, you didn't
just-
register for Nikon, you just
got the
called for
hotel.
Mhm. The day that they.
You going to Lake George, Saratoga Springs?
Saratoga Springs.
So.
You don't want to go, Kathleen? You can't go?
What are the dates?
14th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
September.
Whatever that Monday through Thursday, yeah, September.
anyone else?
It's an open spot. I'll definitely think about it. No one else wants to go. I did go last year.
Go ahead, Kathleen. Finish, sorry, NICOM, whatever we said.
Basically, July was a slow month, so we have not had meetings in July, other than what you've already heard about. It was just the NICOM water webinar series I wanted you to be aware of, and there was something else from NICOM about the NYSERDA Cleaner Communities competition, but these are grants that are in August, and you really need to have something cover ready.
And I think I've registered all of you, you all get Nikon emails, right? Yeah, so.
Yeah, just a heads up. If you-
So we get them,
Yeah.
and that's why
Mhm.
I.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that everything, Kathleen? Susan?
Youth Services Board met, are filling the vacancies, and we heard from Rick, who's working really hard to get up to speed in his new position. But
And who did he replace again?
Hmm?
Who did he replace again?
Teresa.
Teresa, okay, Albert.
Mhm.
Yeah, hard shoes to fill.
So they've had 35 applicants for the remaining positions that are open, and Katie said they had 3 interviews, and each one of the interviewee would be a perfect employee. I mean, it's up to them. So that was a plus. And TCOG had a presentation from the chamber. What is it, Ronnie? Signage. They have a grant to do signage.
Wayfaring.
Wayfinder.
Wayfinding.
So that was interesting. So we can maybe look forward to new signage. Maybe we can change signs if we don't.
If we don't like ours.
Ours.
If you do like theirs.
There are standards, the highway standard signs.
They're highway standards, but they're, that was the new.
Yeah.
thing. I wasn't sure if she said we had the opportunity to have input about what signs, so maybe they will, whenever this happens, they will let us know.
Yeah, I thought that they were still in the decision process of what signs to use. They would have some for county level and some for municipal level. There's within the same design scheme, but slightly different.
Yeah, slightly different. All we need is more signs. It's
I-
confusing enough. And what else did I do? And planning board is working on the final draft of the changes in the code and getting those corrections so they can come to us soon. And there's a draft best law plan and policy. That Natalie is
Mike did a lot of it. Now we're just tweaking.
working on. And we'll wait, just as a quick engineering meeting, nothing to report there.
Anything else?
No.
Carol?
The Greenway Committee is very happy to report that the pollinator garden has been installed and John set up a fire hydrant watering system and the neighbors are collectively watering the garden so that the GPW doesn't have to do that. I set up a kind of a sign up genius and people are taking control. So that is really great news. Lynn Leopold got us a sign for a pollinator garden, free from one of the organizations she works with. And next we want to put up a QR code that'll maybe be on the new website with a list of like plants and like information about pollinators. There will be an educational component that we'll probably do next summer. And we'll invite someone to speak on pollinators and invite the entire village and anyone else who wants to come. I had a question for you, Ronnie, about the grant stuff. So for you know, as you know, we haven't gotten the contract yet for the sidewalk grant. There was a problem in our SFF with labeling, and is that completely remedied?
As far as Michelle and I can tell.
Now labeled all the things that they were looking for?
Yeah, I went through the list. I found one role that I hadn't assigned to myself. And I don't know why, because I thought that I selected check all. And said assign. So it must have been maybe a second page and it only did a first page. Maybe
Okay.
that's been taken care of. As far as we know, as Michelle and I know, we've done everything.
Because my email indicated it was all our fault.
No, that was just a CYA email. Be sure you've done all of these things.
I see.
But I did.
And then, so there was one missing, but you don't know that that's it. And they're just not returning our calls.
They don't reply, they don't acknowledge. That was a standard form. I think that probably AI sent that email.
Interesting.
I'm getting ready to bump my email to Myra Fediniak to ask if we might know when the contract was going to be assigned. But I try to log in, not absolutely every day, but 2 or 3 times a week, just see. And I know Michelle's doing the same thing. So one of us is going to catch it.
Do they respond to the phone if you just telephone?
I think Michelle,
Her direct line?
she had to leave a message. So I think, quite frankly, this is what I think. State budget this year was so late and it left the state in chaos, including all the departments and what they could do with monies and grants and so forth, that no one wanted to make a decision. And once that's finally passed, now they're scrambling to catch up. But I don't know. But this is typical of state grants. It's typical of federal grants is that they're not in a big hurry to.
Sam Michelle said she's never seen this before.
But I hear from agencies, NGOs who have won grants with the state, and when they are applying, it takes forever
Okay.
to get.
Well, as long as we
Forward.
think we filled everything out.
As far as I know, we've done everything.
Good.
So I will send up the fireworks whenever we do finally get that contract.
And then the grant for the trees on Trip Hammer, I did send cooperative extension a follow-up. We do not really have a concrete plan yet. I asked John, I said, John, I don't know 100% understand the latest proposal from Geek Landscape. And he said, I don't either. So I wanted to get the pollinator garden installed before I asked them too much about the trees, because I think one thing at a time is best. Now the pollinator garden's done. I want to call them like tomorrow and say, can we finalize the trees? Because I really want to make sure. We at least do the grant trees. We don't have to do all the trees, but do the grant trees.
Yeah, there's a deadline, right?
October
Yeah,
31st.
October 31st.
And I'm well aware, so
Yeah,
summing up.
you can only do what you
Can't
can.
believe it's August.
No,
All right, that's all for me.
thank you, Carolyn. Pat?
Nothing.
All right. Then I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
Susan seconds, all those in favor, say aye. Thank you. And thanks everyone for a good meeting.
I think if you say, well, I need to talk to you guys about 8 different things.
No, the things we need to talk about, we talked about.